What's up, everybody? This is Podcast Gameoverse episode 176 for Thursday, April 18, 2024. I am Wasabi Ice Cream, joined as always by Rick. What's up?
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Rick. I'm here, live from the playpen.
Yeah.
And I'm here to talk about video games. Jokes aside, I got my son here today. Say hi, Booger. Mama! No, that's not Mama. Mama! No, I have my phone. I'm doing it from my phone, so I think he thinks I'm talking to my wife. That's why I keep saying that. But no, I'm here, and I'm ready to talk about Fallout, which, incredible. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. But first, I'm going to talk about what I've been playing, which is Persona. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I bought the Persona games on Switch. I got Persona 3, 4, and 5, all on Switch. Perfect system to play Persona on. I'm just going to say that. Like, Persona is perfect for Switch. It's insane, like, how perfect it is. Incredible games, all of them. I'm playing Persona 4 a lot right now. Still incredible, great story, great cast. Chie's best girl. I don't care what anyone says. Fuck you, fight me. No, I got a good chunk into it. I'm going all the way with this. I'm going to finish it. I love Persona 4. I haven't played it since, since I had it on Vita, like way back in the day. So I'm into it. I'm going to finish that. And then jump into 4. Probably not play 3 because I'm not a fan of 3. Nothing wrong with 3. It's just if you go to 3 after playing 4, it's a noticeable step down. Like a huge step down.
Yeah.
I hear 3 remake is good, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, 3 was the first one I played on PSP.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's the first one you play. But if you go into 3 after playing 4 Golden, oh, dude, it's night and day difference.
Yeah.
I remember, 3 had... It was the first game to do the social link system. So a lot of the social links were just kind of shitty. There's one, the whole social link is, dude wants to fuck his teacher. I remember that. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, there's this dude, he's like, I like older women, and his whole social link is like, so I'm talking to my teacher. That's the whole social link. It's like, I'm talking to my teacher, this is what we did, and then my teacher said we can't be talking anymore. And that's his whole social link, I swear to God.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's still in the Persona 3 remake, but it might be.
I'm going to have to research that.
We find it, hold on. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. The whole social link is like this dude has an affair with this teacher.
Yeah, I mean those games always had some weird shit. I think even 4 had some stuff where it was like, yeah, this, I'm gay. Okay, yeah. Or, those games were very Japanese stuff. It was kind of not as woke as yeah.
Persona 4 is surprisingly pretty good about that, like Kanji's social link. It's not this gay awakening everyone thinks it is, but it is a huge part of his social link is him struggling with his sexuality and his masculinity because of his interests. We could argue it's kind of problematic the way the game conflates interests and sexuality, they're a similar thing. But if you're a teenager, you're gonna conflate that on your own, right? So it makes sense that he's oh, I like sewing, girls annoy me, I must be gay. And to go through this arc of questioning himself. It's pretty well handled. Again, it's not this gay awakening everybody thinks it is, but I'm playing through it right now and it's pretty well handled. Especially when the game came out 2000. I think the original Persona 4 came out 2009. Something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty cool to see it work out the way it did. What was I gonna say? I'm trying to find that fucking social link, dude. I don't know. I remember the dude is a student. He goes to school. He's one of the first social links you get that's not your party members. And his whole thing is yeah, man, I like older women. I'm trying to hook up with my teacher. And then he does, and he's like, it's pretty awesome. And then like she cuts it off because he's a fucking student, and he's like miserable, and you like pull him out of the funk. That's the whole thing. It's kind of weird. God, I'm not gonna find it. Yes, Booger. I'll find it later. But yeah, the games are incredible. I love the Persona games. Persona 4 Golden is where I started, and it's my personal favorite so far. 5 has the best mechanics. 4 has the best story. That's my opinion. But yeah, they're good. I got them on sale for like $20 for 3 and 4, and 5 was on sale for like $30 on Amazon for a physical copy, so I ordered that. And 5's run surprisingly well on Switch. Like, it doesn't have the same resolution you'll get on, like, because the first time I played Persona 5 was on PS4. It doesn't have the same resolution, but it's hitting like 30 frames per second very like consistently. So scale down resolution, but you still get the same performance, same load times, not better load times actually. Yes, so it's a good port. Like, it doesn't feel compromised at all. Persona 5 on Switch, so it's got my seal of approval. I found him. His name is Kenji. Kenji Tomochika. I don't know, but that's his whole social link, trying to like hook up with his teacher.
Kenji, yeah, I remember the name. The name is familiar, but
yeah,
I played that game so long ago. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, I remember the whole thing is him just like talking about like girls, and he's like, "Yo, I'm talking to my teacher." Yeah, social link rank 4. He like tells you he's gonna ask out his teacher. And I think I remember them like it working out for a little while. But then she like cuts it off. I can't remember. I might be like making up some of it, but I remember like trying to hook up with his teacher is like a part of his social link, like a not insignificant part of his social link. Yeah, so go check that out. Actually, I will say that the PSP version has the female main character. Her social links are better than the male characters because they wrote those social links after 4. So like, okay, this is how a social link like should work. So they're framed and they're framed much better and they're more interesting than the male social link goes to.
Wait, do you not get the teacher one if you're playing the female character?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if like you could talk to a teacher in general, but this guy who's trying to hook up with his teacher, like he's not in her social link. No. I can't remember who takes over for that because his social link is based on like a tarot card. I think his is a magician. Yeah, his is the magician. So I don't know who takes over the magician social link for the female main character. But I remember he doesn't show up for hers. But yeah, that's Persona. Okay. Good games. Get them. Yeah. Great game for Switch. Now let's talk about the Fallout show.
Okay.
We both finished it. Are we doing spoilers or no spoilers for the show? Or light spoilers?
I try to do no spoilers.
Okay. First off, I think it's incredible. What I think the secret formula for video game adaptations, and this proved it for me. You can't adapt a story one-to-one. Yeah. So what this and Fallout, you really can't because you make your own character. There's a lot of choices you can make. Like there's no like really one-to-one story to adapt. So what this game does instead, or this show does instead, is that it creates a story within the Fallout universe. And that was seriously the best thing they could have done. They're not stuck like having to follow what the game did. You're not comparing it to the game all the time. It's doing its own thing in the world of Fallout, and it does it really fucking well.
Yeah,
and
but
you don't just follow one character either. Yeah, keep going.
It is though. It does exist in that universe, and it is trying to do like its own thing. Yeah. Which, if you're like a canon fucker, you're gonna be the only people who are upset with this series right now are the canon fuckers or the lore fuckers or whatever, because they do fuck up lore wise in a few spots, but
yeah, a lot of it is superficial stuff. Like, I think some timeline stuff gets mixed up. People are like, oh, these two factions didn't exist together or something, but
yeah.
who cares? One thing that they do differently that I didn't see in the original games, but I liked, that I kind of wish the games introduced, is how ghouls are handled. So, minor spoiler, but not really. But in the games, right, like if you get irradiated, the two things that happen, not your character, but in the lore of Fallout, if you get super heavily radiated, you'll either fucking die, or you'll turn into a ghoul. A ghoul is a person that looks like a zombie, but they're immune to radiation, they can heal their wounds naturally, and they can live forever. They're essentially immortal. Unless you shoot them in the head or kill them or something, but they don't age like normal people do.
Yeah.
But ghouls that have been alive for too long or got trapped somewhere or suffered like some emotional issue can become feral and basically turn into like what we think of as like ravaged zombies. Now, it's never explained in the games, or if it is not explained super well, what causes it. But what the cause is, like, it's either like stress, or it's just like living for so long your brain just rots out your head. In this show, though, it's a natural consequence of becoming a ghoul. Like, it's going to happen inevitably. You can postpone it with medicine, and if you don't take the medicine for long enough, you go feral. And I like that concept. I really like that concept.
Yeah.
Because it gives one character in particular a lot more stakes to like deal with, and you get to see like where he's coming from in the terms of like his own survival in the world of Fallout. And the show's super dark, by the way. The show is not scared to get really fucking dark. Like there's a lot of like.
That's what I love about it. Is it has way more bite. It has way more bite than I thought. Like it has way more edge to it than because you know you have Bethesda's name on this, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so. It's gonna be like edgewise. It's gonna be a fucking perfect circle of edginess. But no, it's like they fucking went there. It's violent as fuck. Gory as fuck.
It's very violent, very gory, very morally ambiguous. Minor spoiler, but given the circumstance of how episode 1 ends, would you consider that a rape? Would you consider that a rape? I was thinking that might be a rape.
Oh, maybe.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Like, it was consensual, but it was under false pretenses. Like,
yeah.
I would consider that a rape. Like, that's the first thing I thought after that scene. I was like, was that just... That's seriously what I was thinking, like, after that. There's no time to dwell on it. The show doesn't dwell on it, because like, you literally don't have time to dwell on it with the way that episode goes. But, yeah, it's... The thing I thought of it, nobody brings up, by the way. Nobody fucking talked about that. I was like, that's pretty rapey, what happened that first episode. But yeah. The show's got some bite, dude.
They're doing it's cool because they're doing like 3 stories.
Yeah.
They're doing like 3 separate stories in one thing, and you would think, oh, they only have like, what is it, like 8 episodes? They only have 8 episodes to kind of tie in 3 separate stories with each other, but they do it like very well. I mean, you do have they keep having this coincidental thing where everyone just keeps running into each other. It's like, oh, fancy meeting you here.
I'll argue, because of the circumstances, it's not totally coincidental. Like, they're all more or less after the same goal.
Yeah.
So it's not like totally happenstance.
It just makes the world feel. It makes the world feel super fucking small, because just everyone's just on top of each other. That was my only gripe with it. It was like, oh, fucking, how big is this world where everyone's just always running into each other? But
so again, if like you look at the context, I don't want to spoil anything. If you look at the context of how things are laid out, it's not so much a coincidence. Yeah. It's not like it's like lucky that like, oh, I found you here. Like, even with the oh god, I don't want to spoil anything, but even with like the paladin guy, right?
Yeah.
Like running into someone from his boot camp. That's not so much like a random thing if you think about the fact that like the Brotherhood are kind of on their last legs. It's kind of implied through the show. The Brotherhood doesn't have a lot of people. And they're really quick about, like, cycling dudes in and out of, like, esquires. Like that one character was going to be a squire until some shit happened, and then, like, okay, move on to the next one. Like, they're kind of quick to do that, so it makes you think, like, it's not so much a coincidence, it's more like an inevitability.
Yeah.
And same with, like, that first town. Like, that's the closest town to, like, the vaults. So that's inevitably where, like, people would congregate to. And because that vault is the location it's in, that's why another character is nearby. Like, there's a lot of, like, not so subtle coincidences there that bring these characters together when you realize, like, they're all more or less after the same goal, or at least some of the same people. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's written super well that there's ways to explain it not being so much a coincidence.
Yeah. The writing is really good. That's the one thing that's
really
like
good.
it ruins all of Bethesda games for me, because, like, if this is how good the writing could be in these universes, I'm like, I never want to play those shitty games again. Because, like, I just want good writing.
Good. It's really good, and
like as you're watching it references like it'll set something up in a previous episode, and you're like, oh, what does that mean? And then later, the
payoff,
it'll give you that payoff. You're like, oh shit, that's why fucking 3 episodes ago he did all this, is because fucking it's like it sets all that shit up and, like, gives you good payoff for shit. What I hated though was the Maximus, the Brotherhood character. I fucking, like, hate him as a character.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like his dilemma is good, because he's like he has to please the Brotherhood while also pleasing the whole love interest thing. It's just so forced and shitty.
Yeah, it feels kind of forced. I'll be honest.
It's like the worst part of this whole thing is they had to, like, force in this, like, love interest thing so early into the show.
What they should have done to circumvent that, I think, would have been a great, like, not circumvent, but, like, a great, that's what I'm looking for, kind of deconstruction of that, is that they played it off like it was a love interest thing, but for Julia, it was like, no, it's just a fuck for me. Like, that would have been cool. Because, Maximus is, like, he's, like, a virgin, doesn't really know, like, sexually, he doesn't have, you find out very, like, halfway through the show, he has, like, a very shitty, like, sex education. And so it would have been cool if, like, Julia, who comes from the vault, where it implies the vault, like, is very sexually, like, loose, right? Like, there's some lines that get dropped, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. And it very much implies that the vault is their more sexual morals are very loose compared to ours. So when she offers to hook up with them, I think it would have been best if he was like, okay, and he just, like, fell in love with her after that. She was like, nah, bro, it's just a fuck for me.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been cool. I would have loved to see that. That would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And, like, he does all this shit, like, thinking he's like, oh, I love you, we're gonna be together forever, and she's like, nah, bro, this is just, like, you're just a warm body. Like, that would have been cool to me.
I'm hoping if they do, like, a season 2, they'll try to move away from that shit, because his dilemma is a good one, so he can, like, fuck it up, and then they can just be free of all that fucking romance shit, because it just doesn't work, I don't think. But everything else is, like, super tight, man. I was, like, invested in every story. Like, the vault storyline is good. The ghoul storyline is fucking great. I love that actor from
me too.
Tarantino puts him in, like, every fucking movie, and it's almost like they brought him into this and was like, just do what you do in the Tarantino movies.
I was watching this and I'm like, you're just that dude from Inglourious Basterds again. Not Inglourious Basterds, Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight.
But I'm cool with it. Yeah, but I'm cool with it because, like, that dude was cool.
Yeah.
So it's fucking good though. Like, it's really fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
And Julia's storyline too is super good. Like, her morals getting kind of put to the test, you know.
Yeah.
Like, growing up in the vault, you know, her vault has a very, like, set moral code. Which, by the way, the entire vault is, like, fucking idiots. Like, all of them are fucking naive morons. Yeah. But it makes sense in the context of, like, how they were raised, where they came from. Like, yeah, that makes perfect sense why they would be these naive, like, fools. But Julia especially, like, and the show doesn't try to pretend like, oh, if everybody just like trusted each other, things would be better. Like, no, there are some shitty people out there you cannot trust, and the show's not afraid to like kind of show that, like, hey, to survive this, you got to be just as shitty as everybody else. It doesn't pretend to have like this moral message where it's like, no, if everybody was just cool with each other, like,
Yeah,
we wouldn't.
I like that though, because it solves the ludo narrative dissonance you get in like in the games where you do come out the vault and you're like this bloodthirsty fucking killing machine straight out the gate. Like at least like it sets her up as like she has like she doesn't want to kill anyone, so she has like a non-lethal like pistol that doesn't really kill anything, and for like at least half the show she doesn't kill fucking anything. You know, she doesn't even like swear or anything. So I like that they set her up as that.
Pushed, dude.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wish the Fallout games did more of, honestly. Like, I've complained about this before, but like a little tangent here. I don't like when games have a moral system and it makes the good moral like the obvious like right choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you want me to play a game where I'm the good guy, like, cool, fucking like test me. Like, make some choices that are like really difficult to make, but also make choices where being the good guy is like gonna fucking put me in a bind. Like,
that's what like New Vegas does, really.
That's what everyone tells me. I gotta play New Vegas now.
Yeah, it's not really black and white.
Yeah, I want to play a game where it's like being the good guy is like a struggle. Like a game that kind of does that is like the original Knights of the Republic. Like, to get the best good like choices, the best light side points, a lot of your time is like spent like giving people money, going out of your way to like help people, where it does like you can like deny rewards if like you wanted to, and that's like there's some pretty good rewards you can get. But if you want to play like if you want to really role play like that light Jedi, you know, the Jedi wouldn't accept those rewards, right? So like the game kind of does make it hard to make those good choices.
Doing shit where like doing the good thing also has consequences as well.
Yeah, that I want to see more of too.
Yeah.
Not a lot of games do that. But this game though, like this show though, it really pushes like her. She's so committed to like fixing the wasteland that it's very naive of her to think that, and the show shows that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, your thinking is very naive and silly, and it's gonna get you killed. And it almost does on a lot of occasions, and it's really cool. And that's why the ghoul is such an asshole, but he's not wrong. Like, like you realize like why he's making the choices he's making, and it's incredible, dude. It's fucking great, and the show balances every character's like goals, ambitions so well. Like it does the Fallout thing, where like, it does the Fallout thing super well, where like there's a bunch of different factions and characters with their own like goals, interests, and morals, and the way they like drive off of each other is like really, really cool. And everyone's morals get pushed to the test. Even like the fucking the Brotherhood characters, you know, are super like anti-ghoul, you know, anti-mutant. Like their stuff gets pushed a lot too. When you just see like, no, like they're just as shitty as everybody else is. They're cosplaying these like paragons of virtue with their armor, and you know they're calling themselves paladins and their followers squires, and but then you realize they're just as shitty as everybody else in the wasteland, like, which isn't like a spoiler. Like it's supposed to be how it is in Fallout. Fallout 3 kind of fucked that, but yeah,
because they were never like good guys. They were never heroes. They were just more guys who thought that they had more righteous claim to shit than everyone else, which they do. She does ask him, like, he explains the Brotherhood's goals to her, and she's like, wasn't that a little hypocritical that you guys just decide that you get to take everything and you're the only ones that get it? He's like, oh yeah, when you look at it that way, it is kind of. So yeah, they do kind of hit on that.
Yeah, which I love because like my first Fallout game was Fallout 3, where the Brotherhood were like the good guys.
Yeah.
Like they never like question the Brotherhood's like morals. They're like, oh no, we're trying to do what's best for the wasteland. We're trying to make it safe for everybody.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I played Fallout 4 that they were like, oh no, we're like these like neo-fascist, like religious zealots that feel like entitled to everything here. Also, fuck ghouls, fuck synths, and it's like Jesus. Like it was a shock to me until one of my buddies was like, oh no, that's how they are in the lore. Like Fallout 3 just fucked them up.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to like see that in the show too, and the show's not afraid to do that. And so much to the point, like even the characters who are like super like, you know, righteous and for the cause, like as soon as they get tested, they fucking buckle. Like it happens to a lot of characters.
Yeah.
I think like every like named Brotherhood character like buckles, like every single one. Like, you know, Maximus when he takes the suit, which spoiler, but not really, it's in the fucking trailers. And like his paladin, like not exactly upholding the morals of the Brotherhood. It's all really good, man.
Yeah. One of the other things I hate. There's two other things I hate about it. One, the music.
What's wrong with the music?
Nothing's wrong with the music. It's just the way they use the music is just super heavy-handed, man. Like in the games, the music is like part of the universe. You know, like whenever the music is playing, it's playing because it's actually playing in the world. Whereas here, they just overlay the music on, like it's overused just way too much, and it's never a part of the world. It's just they overlay the music to, I don't know, lessen the violence. It's always like a violent scene that's happening, and then they put like way too much slow-mo, and then they put the music up way too loud, and it just never fits in what's happening.
I see what you mean. I should bring it up. It does kind of detract from it a little bit, but I'll argue it's kind of balancing that because Fallout itself has like two sides to it. It's one part like really dark. It's really fucking dark. Like a lot of the lore Fallout is like really fucking dark. But it's also kind of goofy and silly and humorous as well. And I think the show balances that super well. And I think using music the way it does kind of helps that effect. Because when the show wants to be serious, it can be really fucking serious too. So it's not like they don't know how to do it.
I don't think it's balanced very well. I think the comedy sometimes goes, because sometimes it is very well balanced in terms of like the comedy and shit and the music, but then sometimes it just goes too far and you're like, oh, now this is just fucking silly and dumb. And, the whole like Vault 3, was it Vault 3 or Vault 4? The whole Vault 4 thing was just fucking, I don't know, the whole situation in Vault 4 was like, it could have been more
the vault that they find later. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but they turn that whole shit into like a fucking comedy bit, and I'm like, this is way too much.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That could have like had much like deeper, darker ramifications than it did.
Yeah.
Without spoiling it, like there is a huge misunderstanding at the end of it that like people get hurt. Innocent people get hurt at the end of that. And it's just kind of hand waved. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's just goofy, kind of like oh, my bad. Like
yeah. But mostly it's like very well balanced. But I just feel like, I don't know, the music moments were just like, why they keep doing this? Some of the songs are reused. They use some of the songs multiple times. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Crawl to the Fallout gets reused a lot in the show.
Yeah.
Which popular song from the games, yeah, but
It's just I expect them to. I expect them to turn the Pit Boy on because they do like there is a radio guy. And he's like playing like violin music, and then they have a whole funny scene with that guy, and it's like, yeah, you know, some people hate this, and then like he has like traps set up with the people who try to kill him and turn his shit off, and I'm like, this is great, but have someone actually have someone turn their radio on and be like, oh, what the fuck is this? They never do that. It's always like the music's just playing, but it's only for like the audience it's playing for, and never in the universe.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I would have loved to see it be more diegetic, is that the term? Like, yeah. But everything else though is done super well. Like the fight scenes that do happen are really cool. The parts that are funny are really fucking funny. Like. Yeah. Minor spoiler, but when Maximus puts on the suit and he saves that guy. Yeah. That was fucking hilarious. I was fucking dying. I had to pause it. I was laughing so goddamn hard.
Yeah. So I would say that this is probably the best video game adaptation ever.
Oh, hands down, yeah.
If we look back at that Last of Us thing. Some people really loved that Last of Us thing, man.
I thought it was good, but it didn't do anything playing the game wouldn't have done for me.
Yeah, but I also think it's like better to play. I was telling people, no, don't even play the game. The show's going to come out soon, and it's just going to be better. Because that's always a game where I'm like, if they turn this into a show, it'd be 10 times better. Like, I'd rather watch this and play this. Same thing with like God of War. It's like I'd rather watch this than play it. And but they couldn't have fucked it up even any worse than they did because it's too short to get any real impactful connection with the characters, which is like the whole thing with those games is you spend so much time with those characters throughout the entire course of those games that you really form a tight connection with those characters. Yeah. Whereas the show just rushes through everything so fucking fast that there's no way, if you're a newcomer to that shit, there's no way you have any connection to those characters at all.
Yeah, a lot of stuff gets underscored in it because a lot of the character development happens like in game, right? Yeah. Like there's a lot of points in game where you're just walking around and like the game's like, hey, what's that? Press triangle to like talk to Ellie about this. And like that's helping develop that relationship. You don't get that in the show really.
Or like when you're like when you get captured or something and she helps you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you play through that whole bit and it's more powerful because of it. This show, it feels like watching the cutscenes just played back for me. Yeah. Which works in getting the point across, but you lose a lot of the context in between those cutscenes. And the show could have picked up on that and done a lot better to build that relationship with the characters, their connections in the world, and flesh out the lore of the world a lot better. Because a lot of the world building happens, ironically, through gameplay. You know, finding like journals, reading them, finding articles and reading them. And again, like the interactions in gameplay, little things like I had a moment in the game that fucking threw me for a loop and it made me realize this game's incredible. Where I was playing the game, I ran out of ammo, and I had two guys on me. One of them gets close, so I grab him. I'm aiming my empty gun at the bad guy, and this is happening in game, right by the way. And they're talking to each other. Joel's like, his gun's empty, and the guy's like, put my friend down. He's like, you fucking put your gun down. And he's like, I'll fucking shoot you and your friend. And he's like, okay, hold on. He's like, let's talk this out. And then Ellie's like, hey, motherfucker. And then he turns around and she fucking bashes him with a brick. And as she does that, I snap this guy's neck and I run over to the next guy and beat the hell out of him. And I'm like, that was fucking cool. And you never see shit like that in the show. Like, that's something that happened to me in-game that helped me as a player develop my relationship to Ellie and also Joel's relationship to Ellie. And you never see that stuff in the show. Yeah. And the show would have been perfect to introduce stuff like that. Like I said, I feel like I'm watching the cutscenes play back for me, which gets the point across, gets you from A to B, but you lose a lot of that stuff in the middle. And again, I think the secret formula to adapting games into movies, shows, is not to adapt the story you already know one-to-one, but set a new story in the world of that show, or in the world of that universe, and do your own thing with it. Yeah. And Fallout did it, and it's super good.
Yeah, that would be preferable if you can do that. Just do something original. But I feel like the most important thing is just don't rush it. Like, just don't rush. Just like take your fucking time. Like even with this, I would say even with like Fallout, they rushed it a little too much. Like there are moments where I'm like, because of course across the course it's 8 episodes.
Each episode's like an hour long.
Each episode's an hour long, and it didn't feel rushed, but it did feel like by the end of it, everything is like settled. Not everything, but they leave it in a state where it's like, man, you really tied stuff up here kind of quickly. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't like that they kind of just rush shit a little too much. I feel like just like draw it out a little more. Like the pacing is okay, but I just felt like everything was rushed a little. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit more they could have like worked on. Like we'll probably get more of it in season 2, but I want to know what happened with the ghoul and like his family. I want to know more about that.
Yeah,
because there's something happened there. Like, you know, you never see. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything. You never see the confrontation, right? Like, you never see the. You know, you find out like the twist, and then that's it. You never learn what happened after that.
Yeah.
And I want to see that. They'll probably explore more of it in season 2, but like that's something that I get what you mean. Like, there's a lot of pacing stuff that like left me a little unsatisfied, but I'm being optimistic it's going to be settled in season 2.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, so even with The Last of Us, like their next season is going to be
just the second
game. Yeah, I'm like, there's so much shit. There's so much shit in between that and after that, or like before. There's like so much shit that they could do. It's just please don't rush it. Like, goddamn. Even
they have a lot of potential to do some incredible stuff with The Last of Us, and again, they kind of squandered it by making it a like, here's the cutscenes from the show, from the game, basically.
Like The Last of Us was perfect.
They added a lot of stuff in. Yep.
That game was seasonal. Well, both of those games are like seasonal. You know, it goes like winter, spring, summer, and shit. And I thought they were gonna do like an entire season of a season. You know.
Yeah.
But that is not at all what they did. So.
That'd be cool, but logistically that'd be hard because each season of each season of time and seasons and TV shows are very different. You know, like a season of a show is like a year-long effort usually. So the characters would age up like 4 years in the season in between, like, you know, the seasons of the game. So I could see why logistically it makes sense to do it this way.
Well,
but what I think it should have done...
You got the budget to do that shit. I mean, look at the fucking... because you're saying... Yeah, but look at shit like Game of Thrones or something that does like winter is coming type shit.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot they could have done. I think what they should have done... made the show like 2 episodes longer and added more context for the characters and the world. You know, let me see more of that development with Joel and Ellie. Let me see more of the behind the scenes stuff of the different factions. And I think it would have been a more thorough experience, I think.
Yeah.
You know, include more of that because they're really trying to it felt like they were trying to hit here's all the points from the game we want to hit on. They're trying to get to each one as quickly as possible. While at the same time taking their time on some things that, in hindsight, weren't the best thing to take their time on. Like, I love that episode with, goddammit, Nick Offerman's character.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill. I love that episode. I thought that episode was incredible.
Yeah.
And that's what sold me the show is going to be great. If they can give every side character this much, attention, but they don't.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like they dedicated a whole episode to that, and that's great.
On its own, it's good. That. On its own, it's good.
On its own, it's good.
When you look at like, yeah,
they
like
should have done that.
We missed out on.
Like every episode should have been that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a huge bummer because like I was praising that episode when I watched it. I was like, this episode's incredible. If this is what they're doing for the show, I would love to see that for every character to get this much attention, and they don't do that. And I almost regret that episode because I'm like, we could have got more context for like Ellie and Joel if we didn't have like a whole episode dedicated to like Bill.
Yeah.
Which it sucks to say because I like that episode, but if you look at like what we missed out on because of that, it's a huge bummer. Again, if every episode had been like that, you know, every character had that much depth to them, that much like backstory behind them, it would have been great, but we don't get that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like Fallout is almost like slightly rushed because I don't know if you look at the game, like no one has a side quest. You know, like there's never like a side quest pops up. It's like they're like laser focused on the main quest, and it's just not. It's like not how like the games work. You know, like you pick up like a side quest along the way that gets you sidetracked. I mean, there is a little bit like the Vault 4 stuff is kind of a side quest, but they don't spend a lot of time. They don't spend a lot of time with that. It's like one half of an episode where like actually in there, and there's a lot of like travel time that they cut out that you could fill in with some shit, you know.
Yeah, same thing. And make it like an episode, maybe 2 episodes longer, maybe 1 episode longer, and like just include like more of that context. I think it would have been like a much better show for it. Yeah. Not to say it's bad, like it's still a good show. Like I enjoyed what I watched, but you know, hindsight's 2020. It's one thing to look at it like in hindsight and say they could have done this, this, and this to make it better. But you know, actually being there making it is like a whole other story too. So
yeah, I felt the same way as I was watching it. I was like, wow, you guys really got here very fast. It was just a travel. It was a travel time for me. Just they'd be somewhere 1 minute, and the next minute they'd be at the locate. Like they just cut out all the travel time, and it just made that world feel so small, especially when everyone's running into each other. I had no scale. I had no internal scale in my head of what the scale of the world was.
Yeah, there's some side characters I want to get more information on too. Like that doctor guy, it's fucking hilarious. I want to get more of him.
Yeah, the whole Enclave, I had just no idea what the fuck was going on with that. They kind of just dropped that whole shit.
Yeah, they talk about the Enclave for like a minute, and then it's like they're not there anymore. So I'm like, what the hell was going on with the Enclave now?
But even then, like I have no idea like where that facility was and what the scale was, like how he ended up running into what's her face is. I have no idea what the scale of that was. Like, what was the travel time of him and the dog and them running into everyone in Philly? Like, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me of like how everyone ended up where they were, because it just seemed like they just teleported.
Well, if you think about like, oh god, I don't want to spoil it. But if you think about like in the context of like, his whole mission was to get to what's her name? Moldover?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that like all the action stuff would happen around there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I just don't understand I don't understand where they came from and
I see what you mean.
Where they ended up, because there's no content. No one explains where that Enclave facility is, as far as I know. And no one explains where anything is. When they were saying Philly, I thought they literally meant Philadelphia. So I'm like, how the fuck did we get here? They're like, that's what, like, I don't know what the fuck Philly is. Every time they said Philly, I was like, oh shit, they're in Philly. But that's not Philly, it's like some other Philly. So I was confused
Yeah,
by
I see
that.
what you mean. Like the scale of the world could have been a little bit better, but
Yeah.
I liked what I was watching still. Like I still think it's a great show. Yeah, we've been talking about this for like an hour, but I could talk even more about it because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
But it is good. It's probably one of the best video game adaptations to come out in a while. Like it's seriously like this and the Sonic movies, and then everything else is like hit or miss.
Yeah, like The Last of Us by default, I guess, just because it is good, but it's just it could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been a lot better. You gotta though. No, don't do that. He's like trying to put a hairbrush to his pizza. Give me that. Thank you, but that's yours, kid. Yeah. Oh, okay. Fine. I'll leave it here for you. No, I'm good, bud. Hold on. Are you still hungry, dude? Because, like, you're eating again. And you were done earlier. Hold on. I'm going to put him down to eat, like. Yeah, the pizza would have been better if you ate it when I gave it to you. I'm gonna feed this kid. But yeah, the show's still good. Like it's seriously the best I think that we've gotten out of one of these like ever. And it's got me excited for our next season. Any project Amazon wants to put together, man, I'm down for it. Honestly, like.
Yeah, well, I heard that, like, did they do the Rings of Power? Did they do that one? Is that Amazon?
They did that one. I haven't watched it, though.
I heard it was dog shit.
I heard it was dog shit, but I heard it was dog shit from, like, a bunch of, like, Tolkien incels, so...
True.
A lot of the people I heard say it was dog shit were the kind of people who, like, you know... This sucks because it's woke, which is like code for this sucks because there's not white people in it.
Yeah, it's the same. The Fallout nerds are doing the same thing with the Fallout show. Shouts out to Kretosis on YouTube. He has like an hour-long watch-along where he just shits on literally every single piece of that fucking show. Like every insignificant scene that happens, he's like, wow, what the fuck is this fucking pile of shit? This would never happen. And like it's like super, he's like tearing down every insignificant scene just to fucking hate on it. I'm like, dude, like relax. Do you watch every, like, how do you enjoy anything when you're like applying this level of scrutiny to fucking everything? Like there was a part where like in the beginning where they're fighting in the vault, and you know how they have that like projector playing, and like it burns up, like the film burns up, and then at some point it like somehow switches to the please stand by Fallout thing. He was like, he pauses it and goes, what the fuck is this shit? The fucking please stand by, the film burned up. Is there someone up there like switching the projector out? And it's like, dude, relax. Like pauses it every minute and a half just to fucking shit talk something that's happening in the scene.
See, that's frustrating. Like, at what point do you like? You must have gone into this like expecting to shit on it. Yeah. Which is so like counterproductive, dude. Like, that's why I fucking hate so much of these like these critics.
Months ago, he put out a video saying how shitty it was going to be, and then like now that it's out there, his whole comment section is, "Wow, this aged like milk." And then he had to put out this like thing criticizing it again, like, "Look how right I am. Look at the fucking projector." It's like, dude, relax.
Dude, and that's what bugs the fuck out of me. Is like, that's why I don't trust any of these like. These nerd critics, because they're so quick to just like to shit on something that doesn't need to be shit on. Like they go in with their mind made up it's going to be bad, and they look for evidence to support that.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that, dude. I fucking hate that shit. Like, it drives me fucking nuts, dude. Like every single one of these, like, the anti-woke reviewers like piss me off the most because they see a character. Like either a female or a character of color, or God forbid both, in a show, and they like look for things to shit on from it, and it drives me fucking crazy. When Prey came out, the new movie in the Predator series, I thought it was incredible. But because the main character was like a Native American girl, people were like looking for things to shit on about it. And one critique that pissed me off, that fucking drove me nuts, and I'm still salty about this. It is totally unrealistic. This girl could just like 1v1 a Predator. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You watch the same fucking movie, dude? She spent the last hour and a half of this movie learning how this fucking thing fights and use its own weapons against them. The same fucking way Dutch did in the first fucking Predator movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And he actually 1v1'd it. He fucking fist fought it.
Like Danny Glover? Is that the Danny Glover one?
Danny Glover fucking fist fights one too.
Yeah.
And that one's in fucking full armor, and no one shits on that. No one shits on that, but because this one's like a girl, suddenly it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Even though she never does that in the fucking movie. She never fucking 1v1s it. She baits into a fight to make it fall for a trap. That's as far as it fucking goes. Like, it's fucking, it drove me fucking nuts, dude. I was like, do we watch the same fucking movie? You fucking incel. Like, oh my god, dude. And that's what drives me fucking nuts, dude, is like, they look for things to pick on, and then when they find it, it's so easy to just like, you could either say, dude, calm down, or here's the context you're missing out on. You're so fucking pissed off that a woman's on screen.
Yeah.
Like, this is the context you're missing out on. And it drives me fucking crazy, dude. Oh my god, nothing sets me off more than that.
At least in their defense, I'm not trying to like defend these guys, but in their defense, at least that comes from somewhere, you know? At least like if they're sexist and racist, you can use that as a defense. But when you're like scrutinizing every little fucking piece of minor shit, it's just like what is the where is this coming from? Like,
I will argue it comes from that. It comes from like this sexist, racist mentality. Because you go into it thinking like, oh, they fucking ruined it.
Yeah.
They made it woke, or they made it, you know, they made the main character a girl or a person of color or both. And so you're like, it's gonna be dog shit because go woke, go broke. Like,
yeah.
You know, they go into this, and then when it finally comes out, they look for shit to shit on. They look for stuff to shit on. To prove them and back them up, and it drives me fucking nuts, dude. And that's where it comes from. Fucking all of them, dude. Critical Drinker, fucking. There's a bunch of other ones that don't come to my mind, so I don't fucking watch them. But Critical Drinker's the fucking worst with that shit. Like, it drives me crazy, dude. It drives me crazy. Like, how the fuck do you critique media for a living, quote unquote, critique, quote unquote, and have such fucking dog shit media literacy? Like,
yeah.
Like, it drives me nuts, dude.
Check out the Kretosis video on YouTube. It's like, he brings up some good points about the lore. Like, lore wise, yeah, you can pick the show apart for the lore, right? I don't think it's any reason that it's bad, though. It's just,
you can pick the games apart for the lore too, though.
Yeah, so. Even if the games fuck up the lore too. But he is, in his defense, he does fucking hate the games as well. So, so
what the fuck is he even talking about? If he hates the game, hates the show, like, why do you care?
Because he's the guy. He's like the Fallout guy. Like, he's like the guy that like makes these. You know, he's one of those guys that does here's a 12-hour-long video on why Fallout 4 sucks. And yeah, so he's like one of those guys. So of course he had that before the show came out. Yeah.
The effort that goes into that is fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, I can't imagine like the effort that goes into that. Like, I don't have the energy to watch like something that negative for that long. I can't imagine like making it.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the thing. If it's like pure negativity, I mean, it's fine. Like, if the game is bad, it's bad. But I think, like I said, I said last week, if it's like a purely analytical focus, where you're not saying this is bad, look how dog shit this is, but let's analyze these mechanics and like see why it doesn't work. is more of a, you know, it could be negative, but at least it's negative from like a objective point of view.
Yeah, but they hardly ever are, though. Like, they're so quick. Every single piece of media that comes out is the worst thing ever to these people. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah, that's because algorithmically, YouTube, that's like what fucking sells. So
yeah, and I hate it.
Beneficial.
I hate that so much. Like,
yeah,
and I fucking hate that, dude. It drives me crazy to see that, like, and to put that effort into something so negative. It's like I don't have the time for this. Like, I don't have the time to do this. And I'll probably watch his video just to see what you're talking about. But there's so much. Like, I can only take so much of that before I'm just like, I'm turning this off and spending my time more productively.
It's worth a watch. I would say it's like an hour long or something like that, or maybe it might be 2 hours long. It's the first episode they look at, so, and it's like a 2 hour. They spend 2 hours. They spend an extra hour of that episode's length just fucking scrutinizing it, and it's just worth watching just to see how fucking ridiculous they are. It's insane. But it's like entertaining how insane it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check it out then for sure. But yeah, the show's good. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. The show's solid. Like, it's really good. I think the show's really good. It's the best video game adaptation we've had, like, ever. Like, go watch it. Even if you don't like Fallout, I think you'll still like it. Like,
yeah, it's good at setting up, like, even for people who don't understand the games, it's good at setting up in an understandable way, for the most part. Because yeah, again, that, you know, even I had the issue where it's like I don't understand where everything is happening, like the locations of stuff and how everyone was moving around was confusing because they were just teleporting everywhere. But other than that, I think it's pretty easy to follow.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to follow too, and it's, despite it being like you said, despite it going kind of quick, it's very tight with the stuff it does do. So it doesn't leave too many loose threads at the end of it. Like, it's pretty solid. I'm sure if you want to cinema sins it, you could find like a million things wrong with it if you like pick it apart. But it's a solid watch. Like, I think so. I watched the whole thing in like 2 days, and I had a fun time with it. So go check it out. We talked a lot about this show. It's good though. Like, I liked it. So
yeah,
Nintendo had their Indie World showcase the other day, which I didn't even know it happened until I got a notification that it was done and the recording was up. So
it's just a bunch of indie games. It's nothing too crazy going on.
Yeah, but, Steam World Heist 2 is coming to Switch August 8th. That's really cool.
That's the big one, yeah.
Huge standout is the Ninja Turtle Splinter Fate game.
Yeah.
Like, that's a console exclusive for Switch launching in July. Those of you who don't know, this game came out in Apple Arcade.
Oh.
Yeah, this is an Apple Arcade game, exclusive to Apple Arcade. And it's basically a 4-player Ninja Turtles Hades.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. But again, it's Apple Arcade exclusive. Those of you who don't know, Apple Arcade is part of like Apple's monthly subscription plan. So you can't even like buy the game separately on the App Store. You gotta pay for this like subscription.
That's fun.
And it's not the only game that does that either. That's the worst part. There's another game. Hold on. Let me try to find it. Called Fantasian. There's an Apple Arcade exclusive. Fantasian is a Japanese RPG made by Mistwalker Studios. Yes, that Mistwalker. Fucking got Lost Odyssey Mistwalker.
Oh.
Created this turn-based Japanese RPG. Yeah, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, they made this game. And it uses dioramas it uses dioramas to build its environment. So it replicates that like pre-rendered look from old JRPGs. And it's fucking cool. It's written by Hirobu Sorosatsu, I think is his name. I can't remember. Hironobu Sakaguchi. I was totally fucking off this name. I got him and Nobuo Uematsu mixed up. Nobuo Uematsu does all the music for Final Fantasy. And Hironobu Sakaguchi wrote the story for like a couple Final Fantasy games. He created the Final Fantasy franchise.
Uematsu did the music for this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Temptation. And this is a huge like deal in the JRPG like sphere, and it's stuck on Apple Arcade. It's been stuck on there since 2021. So yeah, Apple Arcade has some bangers on it, but you need to have the subscription to play any of them. It's fucking annoying. This game included, but it's pretty dope. I got to play it. It's pretty cool.
Eventually end up on other platforms.
Eventually.
I don't know if this is going to be on anything. I think it's Switch exclusive. It's not even on PC, I guess.
They announced it's a time Switch exclusive. I think that's what they said in the presentation.
How much time?
It's a time Switch exclusive. Fuck if I know, but like, it's pretty solid. I got to play a bit of it because I do have an Apple Arcade subscription. Just because like I have an Apple TV subscription, Apple Music, so to pay a little bit more for Apple Arcade, and I get like free like cloud storage, like a huge extension of my cloud storage on top of that. Like it was worth it for me. Still not worth it because it's Apple overcharges for all their shit, but like in the long run, it was like worth it with what I'm already paying for. So I got to get that included. It's pretty solid, dude. It's not a bad like game. It's a really solid Hades clone. Each of the turtles play super differently. You can play with up to like 4 people together, 1 for each turtle. Like the biggest thing holding it back is the platform it's on, because I'm not gonna go out and buy a fucking backbone for my iPhone. Just to play this game. Like that's insane. But I will buy this game on Switch depending on how much it costs. How much is this game gonna cost anyway? Because if it's like fucking $40 or something stupid. Let's
see.
Do you know how much it is?
Go to Nintendo.com. Shredders. No, they
Splinter Fate.
Splinter.
It's called Splinter Fate.
Not even up yet. So, who knows? I'd say maybe $20. No, that's generous.
That's being
40,
generous. Like $20 makes sense. $20 makes sense. So because of that, Nintendo's gonna charge like 40 for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe 30. I'm calling it now. It's gonna be $30 or $40.
Yeah. Steamroad Heist. That first game is like $1 right now on GOG. So if you haven't played it, hop on GOG, grab it. It's only $1 right now for the next 24 hours. So
there you go. Go check it out. SteamWorld stuff. I like SteamWorld Dig a lot. Never played anything of like any of the other games, but
Dig is great.
Yeah, those are the big like things I want to talk about, like TMNT, SteamWorld Heist 2. Yars Rising looks pretty cool. I didn't know that was like a sequel to like a Atari 2600 game.
Yeah, in like the craziest way, because if you look at that classic game, like this is zero resemblance to what the ever fuck that was.
Well, it's a Atari 2600 game, so yeah, it's gonna have zero resemblance.
Well, I mean, but not even like, not even close.
It's not even the same genre. I think like the original like Yars Revenge was like
it was like a shooter, like it was like a shooter kinda.
The space shooter, yeah.
This does have a little homage to that. Like there is a segment, I guess you're like hacking something, and there's like a little mini game that looks like that classic game. But other than that, there's like this is way forward.
Yeah, it's like a Metroidvania, yeah.
Yeah. So looks pretty.
Yeah, but
cool.
It looks cool.
There's another one called Valley Peaks. Is this the one? It's like what if a short hike was a first-person game, and you were a frog instead of a bird? And
that's cool.
That perfectly describes what this game is.
Anton Blast, another one looked really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that game has something to do with Pizza Tower, but I was wrong. It has nothing to do with Pizza Tower.
It looks immediately the same, because both of those games are like inspired by Wario.
Inspired by Wario, yeah. But yeah, I thought it had some. I thought it was like a sequel to Pizza Tower or like a side story to Pizza Tower. But no, it's a totally different game, totally different studio. I guess Pizza Tower references it a lot. Not even the game, but like the creator Pizza Tower references it, like in artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there's like no connection between these two. It's just a coincidence that both these games happen to be like inspired by Wario, have very similar gameplay and art styles. But this looks cool though. I like this. I like what I'm looking at here. This game looks fun. Some quickie news. PlayStation is bringing overlay crossplay trophy support to PC games.
Yeah. So they announced this with Ghost of Tsushima. They came out. They always bury their cool announcements in the more mundane announcements they make. Because this announcement was part of just, hey, here's the system requirements for Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, by the way, we're adding overlays. We're adding trophies, crossplay, all that good shit. And you're like, this is the real news. Like, show me fucking this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. They
but does that mean I'll need a PlayStation account to like play this game then?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would assume they would force you to make a PlayStation account. I would assume they would do that just to get you in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That would only make sense.
I would assume that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing what Microsoft has been doing for the past, like, what, 5-6 years now?
I mean, everyone's kind of doing, like Ubisoft. Like, all these games that have third-party shits, they make you make an account. Like, yo, make your EA account, make your Activision account.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is that, like, because we talked about this a couple shows back, like, Microsoft has been trying to, like, push, like, the Microsoft ecosystem as a whole to exist off of just Microsoft consoles for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
With the move to, like, making a lot of Xbox exclusive games, like, day one available on PC. You know, having them all have some sort of cross-play or cross-play support. Sharing your, like, trophies and achievements between, like, the two systems.
Yeah.
You know, they've been doing this for a long time, and Sony's just been so adamant, like, no, if you want to play PlayStation games, if you want to be part of the PlayStation club, you got to buy a PlayStation. And to see Sony, like, opening up a little bit more on that is good news to me. I like seeing that. I really like seeing that. It's
smart. I mean, they realize that they have to expand to get, you know, it's more profitable that way. You know, I think.
Yeah, I'm not saying bring like PlayStation games to Xbox, but at least port into PC. Like,
yeah,
like people who have a PC are gonna stick with a PC. Like, they're not gonna buy a PlayStation 5 to play like Spider-Man. So it doesn't make sense to like keep up with this like exclusivity. Like, the idea of exclusivity now in this year is so outdated to me because Sony's been like pushing against that or not Sony. Microsoft has been pushing against that for so long. It seems like an outdated concept now, and Sony's finally realizing that.
Yeah. Which is great because it ensures that I never have to buy a console again. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
I will argue there's still some value in buying an Xbox because you have these like backwards compatible games for it.
Yeah.
That's the only argument I would make, that Xbox still has value and the PlayStation doesn't.
Which they made an announcement. They made an announcement last week that it was more like an internal announcement, but the wording on it made it sound like it's an announcement to everyone. But they, like, Sarah Bond put out a thing and I was like, hey, we're going to be doubling down on our commitment to backwards compatibility. Which they made it seem like it was more like a digital thing and less of a physical backwards compatibility, but at least it's there, you know. At least it's something. So they didn't really elaborate.
Sony?
No, Xbox.
Doubling down on backwards. How much more can they double down on it?
I don't know. They didn't really elaborate on what that meant. I don't know if they use the word doubling down, but they said like they're going to be more committed. Is what they said. I guess future wise, maybe.
Oh, that's
thing.
cool.
Yeah. So, but they made it sound like digital. It makes it sound like their commitment is going to be digital going
Which
forward.
by default should have been a thing. Like,
Yeah.
it is stupid to me that I can buy a game on my PS3 digitally and I can't play it on my PS4. That's so fucking ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
But I could buy a game on Steam and it'll still be on Steam like 10 years later.
Yeah. Well, you hope, because Ubisoft removed the Crew from people's libraries. That happened last week too.
Yeah, that happened last week, but I bought, what was that fucking game? I bought Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions years ago, many, many years ago on Steam, before the game got delisted. And because the game's in my library, I can still download it at any time.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Again, Steam has no legal reason to do that. Like, I want to preface this. Steam could tomorrow just decide, like, hey, if that game's not downloaded to your system, you can't download it again. And there's nothing I can do.
They've
like,
done
legally.
it in the past. They've done it in the past, yeah. And they've done it recently with the Crew. But sometimes, it's rare, though, is what I'm saying. It's rare, but they have removed games from people's libraries.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never seen that. Not through Steam, at least.
Yeah.
I thought the Crew was, like, on, like, Ubisoft's, like, little thing. I didn't know it was on Steam.
I think it's everywhere.
That's insane.
But, like, that game's an online game, so you couldn't play it anyway. But, you know, sometimes,
but
like,
still,
fans would, like, create private servers to keep it going.
I was going to say, like, back in the day, like, there are still Quake servers going that are being fan-run. Like, just give us that option, but...
Yeah.
It's like a whole other thing. Like, I guess we can start talking about, like, video game preservation is a fucking joke. Like...
Yeah, there's a
It kind of always has been, but it's so much worse now.
There's some movement in the UK that's... they're starting a thing for preservation, video game preservation.
There's some people who are filing a class action lawsuit against Ubisoft over what's happened with the Crew.
Yeah, they should.
And they should. I agree 100%. Like, that's insane to me that this could just happen. Like, and a big part of it is because of how, like, relatively new video games are as a medium. Like, if you look at video games like 20 years ago to now, it's like a huge difference. And how you bought games, how you played them, how you enjoyed them, that's changed a lot. And because of that, the laws haven't caught up to really match it. And because of that, there's a lot of anti-consumer stuff when it comes to video game ownership and video game preservation that fucking drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that moves are being made, legally speaking, because this is bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. The audacity to, like, push me to buy a game digitally, because there's no alternative. Like, I can't buy a PC game physically anymore, right? Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to, like, get a game from a disc anymore. Like, if I go to, like, a store and buy a PC game, I'm not downloading it from a disc. I'm getting a box with a code in it.
It was a thought that I had, like, yesterday, that that Nintendo indie shit. There was a game in there that was like, oh shit, it was like a knitting puzzle game. Now I have a friend who does, like, crocheting and shit, but she doesn't really play video games, but I know she has a Switch. So I was like, oh shit, I should, like, get her this game because she would, like, love this. But it's, like, digital, so I'm, like, not even, yeah.
Yeah, you can't, like, buy a game for somebody.
Yeah.
On the Switch eShop, which is weird. You can buy it, like, what I have to do for people, whenever there's a game I want them to buy, I have to buy a digital card. I go to Best Buy or GameStop, buy, like, a $20, $25, like, e-gift card, and send them the code and be like, hey, buy this game with that gift card.
Yeah.
Is what I, like, have to do, but it's so weird that all these publishers and all these companies want to push us to an all digital future, but they make it so anti-consumer. It's insane to me. Like, Steam's the only one that's trying to like be somewhat cool about this, but even then, it's not perfect. Like,
yeah.
Nintendo's so far behind the curve, it's not even funny. They're not even a player right now for that, but but they're trying. Like, God bless them, they're trying. It's shitty, but they're trying. I fucking hate the Switch eShop. I hate having to go on the Switch eShop. I hate having to shop on it. I hate having to buy stuff on it.
Again, it's last week they shut down all the servers for 3DS and Wii U last week. So
oh yeah,
all of that shit is dead now. Jeff Gerstmann was telling a story on his show about his kid likes to play the 3DS version of Animal Crossing. And I guess his kid likes to do. There was one feature in there where you could like go to sleep and dream, and it would show you other players' worlds or characters and shit. And I guess his kid loved to do that, but since they shut the thing down, when she went to do it, she started crying. She was like fucking crying her ass off because she couldn't do it anymore, and he had to explain that. It was like shut down. He was pissed the fuck off at Nintendo because his kid just didn't understand like why it was broken, and she just kept crying in the middle of the night.
That's the Japanese way of thinking too. It's like, that's our old product, we don't care about it anymore. Here's a new product everyone should be focusing on.
Yeah.
But
and I was like, genuinely, people don't like the new version of that. Like Mario Maker, for a perfect example. The Wii U version of Mario Maker is like the perfect version because you have like the touch screen that you can draw on, and this doesn't work the same way on the Switch version. And the way people found out how to like fuck that game up and just do unsupported shit in those games, but Nintendo's like, oh, whoa, you're not allowed to play this game in a way that we don't allow you to play the game. And like, they fuck up all those like cool levels because they just don't want you to do it. And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's fucking frustrating, dude. And it's like, it's something that drives me crazy. We're gonna see more of it as we go to like an all digital future here, whether it comes to gaming or any media. And it's something that drives me nuts. Even physical games aren't safe. Like, one perfect example is remember that Tony Hawk. It was like Tony Hawk Pro Skater like 5. You know, that new one that came out that was absolutely dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game wasn't on the disc.
Yeah.
Like, the game had a huge day one patch, and it was basically like the game. They couldn't finish it in time. So they released a disc with like basically a BIOS boot up on it, and the entire game was on a day one patch.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to like buy that game, I couldn't even like. I don't even think it's like listed anymore. So if I bought the game physically secondhand, I would just have a start screen, and that's it. I wouldn't even have a game to play. It's insane to me to like think that. Yeah, just shit is fucked up. I hate it. I hate everything. But it's good to see that like some people are like not taking it anymore. You know, like there is some stuff happening legally speaking. So we'll see where that goes, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, PlayStation's bringing crossplay and trophy sport PC games.
Only Ghost of Tsushima so far, they've said. We have no idea if they're going to bring it to the previous games, but you would hope so.
We hope so. And where the fuck is, like, Final Fantasy Rebirth on PC, Sony? Like, come on. Can we get that already?
Nah, it's like a year out, man.
I know, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Like, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
I hate everything about that.
I bought the Integrate. I bought every Final Fantasy game on Steam because it was like on sale like last month. So,
I never played Remake. I played a little bit of it when it was on PlayStation Plus.
It's fucking good.
I played a bit of it on PlayStation Plus, but I didn't like it because like the performance was kind of shitty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
which like any action game at 30 FPS like pisses me off, dude. I hate it. So yeah, it didn't play the best on PS4.
The PC port is not great. I will say that.
Really?
Yeah, the cutscenes are like not. It's like a direct port of the console version, so like all the cutscenes are 30 FPS. They're not in like 4K or HDR or anything. Yeah, it's like not. It's not an ideal PC port. So.
Oh, fuck this then. Just fuck everything.
But like that's Square.
No,
Square
aside,
is always.
Yeah, Square's always done that. They never give a fuck about like PC ports. Yeah. Which I gotta know how much money they leave on the table. Like really, just not doing a proper PC port.
Well, because
I guess people are still gonna buy it, whether it's a shitty port or not. Like we're gonna buy it.
Final Fantasy 15 was like a showcase for Nvidia, like in all of Nvidia's newest technology. So like they did it with 15. But for whatever reason, like that was like they stopped there. Even Realm Reborn is also like a pretty big showcase for like the latest technologies.
That's true. So yeah, I don't know. Square is just gonna do what Square does, I guess.
Yeah, it was hit and miss.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 15 was a good PC port, though. I remember playing it a little bit. I played a demo of it, and I was impressed like how much better it was.
Yeah.
I still haven't picked it up on PC yet. I just played the demo, but the demo was so good. I'll get it on PC eventually. It's not too expensive. But I have a love-hate relationship with that game.
Though
there's so many things on it that don't work, and it drives me fucking crazy.
That's the thing. I played the launch version of that game, and from what I understand,
so did I.
The launch version was like an unfinished version of that game. Because if you remember, they kept releasing like additional content, and then by the time it hit by the time it was finished, it was like a completely different game with all the content.
Yeah.
So.
I played the game on launch for a good chunk of hours, and I got bored with it. And then I played it like a year later when they started releasing all the extra content. And I played through the game again, and I was like, this is so much better. But there's still like a lot of fundamental shit with that game I hate, dude.
Yeah.
Like, dude, could you not do that? He's smacking on the window. Like, why? There's so much shit that's fundamentally I hate about that game. Like the fact that like there's a bunch of specific missable character moments when you camp, but the game like discourages you from camping by giving you XP boosts at like hotels.
Oh yeah.
Like I know people who like never camped out because you got a huge XP boost, like eating like go to a hotel. They just never fuck with the camping, and they were surprised that like there's like cutscenes and like extra special like quests you could unlock.
Yeah, that's the thing.
From,
the
like,
hotels were like in specific spots. So if you were just out, you would have to camp to get your shit back. Or
well, the camps were like in specific spots too. Like
yeah, but if you were out, you would already you'd be close to one at least.
Yeah, but if you spent all this time like getting all this XP and you're like, I could like camp right here.
Bonus, yeah.
I can camp right here and call it a night, or I could play for like maybe another 30 minutes, 40 minutes and get to this like hotel and get like a double XP boost.
Yeah.
Like those min-maxers are gonna do it. And that I know a lot of people who did do that and they didn't even know like all this content was there. Because the game like discourages you from doing it.
Yeah.
I never played that like stealth mission vanilla, but I heard that was dog shit, and it was still really shitty when they like patched it. I can't imagine what that was like when it came out. Yeah.
I don't even remember that, but I do remember people complaining about it. It wasn't.
I played after it was patched, so it gave you like this like ring you could like insta kill enemies with. But it took a minute to use it, so you couldn't like reliably fight with it. You had to like. There's basically a stealth kill system they included with it, but I can't imagine like not having that in the base game. That must have been fucking terrible.
Yeah, no, I did that whole game vanilla, just launch. Yeah, but like that's the thing. All my characters were like max level. Like I never died in that game. It was so fucking easy. That's all I remember. That's what I remember. That game being easy as fuck. Never died. The only time I saw a game over screen is like when you 100% the game, you get the flying regalia. Like your car can turn into an airship, and I crashed it.
Yeah.
I crashed it into a mountain, and that's when I learned that there was a game over screen. I'd never died before that. So yeah, that's what I remember.
I don't think I ever died either, honestly.
It's because when you lose all your health, you're like, you T-bow for a second, and it gives you like 30 seconds to use whatever consumables you have.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't die unless you just have no recovery items. Or like your characters,
right.
your teammates don't get to you in time to like pick you up.
Yeah, you're right. I remember fights going where like my teammates were all like fucking wiped, but I was still standing. So every like 30 seconds I was getting like knocked out, but I was like healing myself again.
Yeah. I had 99. I had 99 of literally every item because I was walking everywhere, and you can just pick items up if you're just walking in the world. Like I never used a car.
Oh yeah.
So you just pick up every item like along the way, and you just get 99 of every item. Just max item, max level. I was like, this is fucked. So, but I might play through it again now that it's like I have the finished version. Just to see.
Yeah, I want to wait for the definitive edition to come out, or not to come out, but to go on sale. Because I never played the DLC. I played the base game. I never played the DLC.
Yeah.
So I want to play the definitive version and play through the DLC with it.
All the character episodes and like none of that was out when I played it. Yeah, because there's this moment, that game was unfinished. There was moments in that game where a character would just go fuck off, and you're like, oh, well, fucking Ignis is gone now. Like,
and they come back with like a star and a power boost. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I heard like Prompto is like the worst, because he goes through like some character development in his episode. And it's not talked about in the base game at all. Like you learn some like shit about him, is what I've been told. And the game just doesn't acknowledge it. Like huge like revelations for like the world of Final Fantasy 15 and this character, and the game just like whatever.
Shit.
Yeah. Like I don't want to spoil it because I know what happens, and I don't want to spoil it. But I'm like, how the fuck was this not in the base game? That is insane to me.
Yeah.
That's not in the base game. That's like, God, I can't even imagine what that's like. I can't even, there's nothing I can compare it to. Like, it's insane.
We've gotten sidetracked here.
Yeah, we did. The fuck were we talking about again? We're talking about PlayStation still. Damn it. We're still on this topic. Anyway, quickies now.
No, that was the quickie.
Yeah. Rogue, Prince of Persia. That looks pretty cool, actually.
They showed this last week during the Triple I Initiative showcase, which I thought they were going to show actually like Triple I games, you know what I mean? Not just standard
Triple I games.
Triple I is like what the indies call, it's like the indie version of Triple A.
I thought those were like double A. What people called it.
Well, you know, there's like Triple A games, and like indie came up with their version of like Triple I. But
I was gonna say, I thought the indie version of that was like double A.
Well,
or is double A like scaled back Triple A, and Triple I is like scaled up indie?
Yeah, like Triple A doesn't necessarily mean indie. It just means like a smaller game.
Well, no, double A is the term I was talking about.
Oh yeah, double A.
Like,
yeah, it doesn't necessarily.
Or is double A just like scaled back?
Yeah, like you can have a major studio make a double A game.
That's true.
But this is also this game. This is a Ubisoft game, so I'm not even sure how this qualifies. Is, you know, they've gotten very liberal with the term indie. Like, there's a Gearbox game in here. But anyway, when they say Triple I, I'm thinking like, oh, there's gonna be huge budget indie games. You know, like fucking Baldur's Gate 3 style shit or whatever the fuck. But no, it's just like they're just small indie games. But anyway,
it sounds like small indie games are supported by a studio. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. But they showed this Prince of Persia one at the very end, and my god, does it look good. They started with this like little cinematic thing, and then it gets into some actual fucking gameplay, and I love the transition.
Me too.
But this looks awesome. It looks
yeah, it looks good. I'm into it. I fucks with it. I haven't played the new Prince of Persia game yet, but that looks really good too.
Yeah, I heard that was great. So, you know, every once in a while.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things.
Every once in a while, Ubisoft hits the nail on the head, and then most of the time they don't.
they never learn from it, and they just keep doing the same stupid shit. Yeah. But whatever. Ubisoft's gonna Ubisoft. There's one of those companies. It's like just gonna do whatever.
Yeah.
Next, we got Astropulse Reincarnation.
Okay, so
which I don't know this one. What's this one?
No one knows this one. There's no actual game here, but it's significant because it's an ex-Blizzard guy, and it's made blatantly obvious how Blizzard this shit is. Because if you look at it, it's like a combination of StarCraft. There's like a literal fucking Lilith scene in here. Let's see if I can find it. If you remember the Diablo 4 reveal trailer, where like it shows like Lilith with those like big ass wings, they literally do that here. It's literally, I'm like, dude, you couldn't be any more blatant with your we have no idea what the fuck the game is, by the way. It's just a 5-minute cinematic, which is cool, which looks cool, but there's like no gameplay, zero gameplay. So
watch it be like a StarCraft clone.
Yeah, it's either StarCraft or it's like a mix of StarCraft, Diablo, and Scorn is like what this trailer kind of showcases. So we have like, you know, no idea, no fucking clue. Other than that's
I guess it's like a Blizzard artist.
Yeah. So just wanted to show that because visually it's interesting, but. And the lineage is interesting, but we don't know any more than that. So
yeah, I don't know what kind of game it is. If it's like a Diablo, like I'll be into it. If it's anything else, I won't care.
Yeah,
I think Diablo is the only like Blizzard project I actually give a shit about.
I played. So I did play some games. I just didn't mention because I played a variety of just a bunch of different games, and I did play a little bit of Diablo 2 Resurrected. It was on sale last week. Might even still be on sale. It was like, I think it was like $15 or something.
It's not bad. It's just kind of slow compared to like what Diablo is now. But it's not bad.
Yeah. But like the cinematics in those fucking games, I've never played or even looked at Diablo before Diablo 3. So
yeah, same.
The opening cinematic to Diablo 2 is fucking incredible. And to know that they were doing that like in like 99 or whenever the fuck that game came out, it's just insane. Like, I've played that game back then and I've seen that. It like rivals movies. I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, like they scaled it up. Well, they redid the cutscene, I think, and for this new one. But even if you look back at the original cutscene, if you look back at the original, it's like, holy shit, this came out when it did. Like,
it's fucking incredible.
Like early 90s when it came out. Like, that's incredible. Yeah. Even Diablo 3, like their cutscenes are like incredible, and that game came out in like 2009.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Like, it's very impressive. Like, I wish Blizzard would just make fucking movies or shows or something. I thought they were doing like an Overwatch thing, but I'm not sure anymore. But
they realized they could make more money, like shipping Overwatch 2 and charging you for every little thing you had in Overwatch 1.
Charging for skins and shit,
Yeah, that you already had in the first game. Jesus Christ. Fucking joke. Astral Pulse looks cool. I want to check this out. Releases.
Yeah.
No Rest of the Wicked comes out today. Supposed to.
It is out now.
It's
It
out.
came out.
You got
I
it.
bought it. I will be playing this. I will be playing this later today.
Hey, put that down. Put that down. Put that down. God damn it.
Yeah, no rest for the
Hurt
wicked. This
yourself,
is the next game from Moon Studios, the guys that brought us Ori. First two Ori games. This is their latest joint. It is out right now in early access. I own this. I own this game. I will be playing this. I will be playing this later. So
I'll watch you. I think I could stream you on Twitch on my Xbox, so I'm gonna try that. But I can't leave this living room hanging out with this kid.
But it looks great. It looks great. So I'm super excited to play this.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I want to watch it too, so I can decide if I want to buy it or not.
Yeah.
Dude. My kid's getting into my soda. Stop it. I gotta baby-proof my house again. Like, we had baby-proofed it, but like he's getting so much more like inquisitive, and he's getting into shit I never thought he even like thought to go into. So I gotta like. What is in your mouth? Give me that. Give me that. Not the sock. What was that in your mouth? Thank you. Gee, this is my life. I love this kid, even if he is like always trying to hurt himself. No, this looks cool. I want to try it. I'll definitely watch you. I'll find a way to watch you today. We also got Soul Covenant releasing on PC and PS5. April 20.
Oh, it's a VR.
Oh, there you
game.
go.
It's a VR game.
Oh, fuck it. I don't care anymore then.
Yeah.
Tuesday, April 23rd, we got Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. There's been a lot of hype for this game.
This is on Game Pass.
Is it?
Yeah. I think it's
Sweet.
launching on Game Pass.
I know the other Eiyuden Chronicles game, the side-scroller, was on Game Pass.
100 plus playable characters.
Yeah, it's based on the, it's like a spiritual successor of the Suikoden games.
Ah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And there's a lot of attention behind this. There's a lot of like hype behind it because Suikoden fans haven't been eaten right for the past like 20 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hype behind this for like the Suikoden community and the JRPG fans in general. So
is this action or turn based?
It's turn based. Yeah. Sorry, it's old school as fuck.
There's a shark man.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters in this that are pretty cool.
Okay.
We also got, this is coming out on everything. PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X, so check that out when it drops. Tales of Kenzera Zao is also releasing April 23rd for PC, Switch, PS5, and Series X.
Yeah. Played this.
I don't know this game.
This is the one they announced during the Game Awards. I play this. It's cool. It's cool. I think the combat needed some tweaking. I played like an early demo, so maybe they tweaked the combat a little. But my thing was like the dodge was just inconsistent. Sometimes you would dodge and it would be like you would go like the full distance. Sometimes your dodge would stop short, or like the dodge is like a dash move.
I remember this. Yeah, it was like that. It was that. It's like a Metroidvania, like an action-heavy Metroidvania inspired by like African culture. Like, yeah, this looks really cool. I was super into this.
Yeah. Yeah,
I remember you mentioning the dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's been ironed out with the full release. Like, but we'll see. Yeah, this looks cool. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us talk about like Fallout and Final Fantasy for like an hour and a half, and the rest of it was actual show. But we have a lot to talk about, though. I like this. I like the show. I think we had a pretty good show today. And everybody, thank you for being so patient while I had my son running around like mucking things up.
I'll be curious to see what kind of gamer he turns into, if he turns into a
if he's a gamer. Yeah, that's what I want to see too, man. Like, I'm excited to like. It's gonna sound kind of schmaltzy, but like I'm excited to like introduce stuff to him when he gets older, you know. And I realized like my dad got me into video games, so it's gonna be cool for me to get him into stuff I'm into. Like a lot of stuff I'm into, like video games, Star Wars, horror movies, because of my dad. So it'll be cool for me to introduce.
If he because he could also be swayed by just like his like friends, you know. If his friends are all playing like, I don't know, whatever's popular in fucking 10 years, like it's still like Fortnite, Minecraft, you know.
I saw this article. I think I told you about how gaming has changed in the last like couple decades. And this guy was mentioning he has a son who's a gamer. And he says it in quotations because his son only plays like Minecraft and Fortnite. He's got all the major systems because his dad does, but he only really plays like Minecraft and Fortnite with his friends. And even then, it's like to really just hang out with them. They're not really doing anything. Yeah. And he got his son Spider-Man, Miles Morales, to try to get him into it. And he was like, you know, hey, let's try to like play the game, right? He's like, I try to play the game now. So he put it on like the easiest difficulty, helped his son get through, and his son got through the first mission. And it was a lot of struggle, it was a lot of difficulty for him. But he got through it. He got past the first mission. His dad's like, great, now do you want to play the rest of the game? And he's like, no. And it's funny to me that's kind of what gaming turned into, though. It's like, it's not so much like what it was when we grew up.
All of like the popular games, well, like Fortnite and Minecraft and like Roblox and shit, they've all become platforms of their own, of which have other games inside of them. And it seems like there's a lot of developers that are just making games in those games. And not necessarily making games like outside of those shits, you know? So like that's the interesting thing.
There's a whole ecosystem in there. That's And not just that, but it's like, it's the same as like hanging out with your friends at the playground and just like talking. Because like that's a lot what those games facilitate. Like, when you see a bunch of kids like getting on the Among Us or Fortnite, it's not to play Among Us or Fortnite, it's to hang out. Like, and that's kind of what gaming's turning into now. So it'll be interesting to see him, like, if that's something he'll be into, or if he is gonna like acclimate to games like I do and play games that like are somewhat challenging and push him a little bit. So we'll see. I'm excited though to show it to him.
Well, you got to get him
started. My brother
make him play Castlevania on NES.
My brother has two kids, and his oldest, he was only a couple years back. He was she likes to watch him play, but she doesn't have the coordination yet. She was only like 4 at the time to like really do things. But she figured out, she would watch him play games, and she figured out how to do Link's spin dash in Breath of the Wild. And so she played through it and tried to like run around, do stuff, and then an enemy, like one moblin came up to her, and she like lost, she didn't know what to do. So she would like charge up the spin dash and like let that go because you didn't have to really aim it, you know? And she managed to kill it. And my brother was like, he was telling me he was so proud that she did it. And she did it all on her own. She figured out like, okay, I don't have the coordination to like really attack and hit it. So I'm going to do the spin dash. And when it gets close to me, I'll let it go and take it out. And she did it. And she was excited that she did it. She kept playing the game some more after that. And it's really funny watching her play because like she's a bit older now. She's played a bit more games. My brother got the last side note, and then we can go. He got that taiko drum game. And he set it up for her to play, and she was playing it, and she was playing the Demon Slayer like OP intro, that song. And it was funny watching her play through it, and she misses a note, and she goes, "Oh my God." But she says it the exact same way my brother does. Like, I played many games with this guy, And the way he says, he has a very distinctive way when something doesn't go his way, and he's like, "Oh my god!" Like the way he says it, she had the same inflection and cadence as him. It was like that was the funniest part to me is that she mimicked his like
mannerisms,
exasperated gamer inflections. Yeah, like it was really funny to like for me to listen to. Because as soon as I heard that, I messaged, I was like, "Dude, that's fucking you." The way she said, "Oh my god," that's how you say it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was really funny.
I like the idea of just, I don't know. If I had a kid, I would turn it into an experiment and just see, like, in like 15 years, what gaming experiments I can run on this guy and just see what it turns into.
There's this YouTube I gotta find, I gotta show it to you, but this guy has his girlfriend play some video games, but she's not a gamer.
Yeah.
So he has her play through like Last of Us, for example, and the choices she makes, she doesn't understand the language of games, is like very interesting. Like the direction she runs in, because you know that opening scene in Last of Us when you're running in the city.
Yeah.
If you understand how games work, you know like where the game's trying to tell you to go. But she's like looking at it like realistically. So she's running in all these different directions. And he's like, "Why are you doing that?" She's like, "Well, why wouldn't I do that?" And he's like, "Good point."
Yeah, I did
and
the
she
same
like
thing.
dies. Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Oh yeah, you're telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, my ex. Well, because she played games. Like she was like, she fucking loved Resident Evil. She finished Death Stranding, which I'm like, that's fucking. I didn't even finish that fucking game. So I'm like, oh yeah. So like, she was like a gamer, but like certain games she would play, and just would be completely clear. It would be the games that don't have like straight up fucking objectives. She just couldn't handle. Like she just needed the game to tell her what the fuck to do or where the fuck to go. Otherwise,
hey, Junior, get down from there.
She couldn't process. I thought that was like very interesting because for me, I love games that just don't force me to do shit. Like I love games that just are open and you just figure shit out. But she just could not handle not being told exactly what the fuck to do.
Yeah, there's a certain like language to games that you have to kind of understand, and it's interesting to see that. Like I was watching, I think I told the story before, but I was watching a review for Shin Megami Tensei 4, just considering buying it. I finished Persona 4, and I was deep in it, and I was like, I want to play these SMT games, and 4 was the most recent one that came out. I was watching a review, I was at my grandma's house watching a review on it, and my tia, my aunt, for you non-Spanish speakers, or people don't know what tia is, she walked in, I was watching this review. I was watching it in the kitchen on my phone, and they refer to it as a dungeon crawling RPG. And she was like, "What is that?" I'm like, it's a role-playing game. I had to explain to her what a role-playing game was. And she's like, "What's a dungeon crawler?" I had to explain to her what like a dungeon is in the context of like a game, and explain like what a dungeon crawler like looks like. And she understood it after I explained it to her. But I was like, "That's so interesting to me that like." When I say dungeon crawler RPG, people in my circles understand what that is, but having to explain that to someone who doesn't understand that kind of like language is really interesting.
It's interesting that she's asking questions about. She's like, genuinely interested in it.
Yeah, that too. That's super cool too.
Yeah.
But I'm sure also like if you don't know the context. Hearing somebody watch a review on a video game that they were interested in buying and hearing someone refer to it as a dungeon crawler, without the context of video games, you're like, what is that? Is it something I should be concerned about? You know what I mean?
But that's why terms like Metroidvania sucks and, roguelike and Soulsborne.
Yeah.
That's why like if you don't already have the context for any of that shit, it kind of doesn't convey the purpose of trying to tell you what the fuck a game is. But I think you're muted. I think you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you
Hello?
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was muted for a second. I was trying to get my dog inside. But yeah, it's interesting to me that, like, you know, you're right. We have these terms that don't exactly explain what you're getting into. And it's specifically video games that have shit like that. Like, if I go to watch a movie, I can tell it's a horror movie, it's a romantic comedy, it's a drama, it's a period piece. But if I say it's a platformer,
well, because like movies will have the same shit. If you say like a movie is like Geiger-esque, and you don't know what the fuck like H.R. Geiger is, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? You know, there's sub, because you can say anything is like horror. You know, you can say like Resident Evil's like horror, but I think there's like a lot of like subtext in that as well, where it's like there's a lot of different horror.
To an extent, but if you look at like what you're getting into, like I said, I can describe like a platformer. And I can be talking about Mario or Limbo or all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that, like, what's up, booger? Why are you crying? It's cool to me that, like, again, this language is so, like, non-universal, and then made up for sure. It's kind of made up as it goes along, like, because gaming itself is so new. It's like interesting to me to see how people react to that. That's what I'm excited to see, like, to watch my son experience video games for the first time. It'll probably be both like super cool and also frustrating watching someone who doesn't understand like how games work, like hold a controller for the first time and play a game.
Yeah.
I had one last little anecdote. I know I said that before, but one last little anecdote. I had my brother bought Cuphead on a Switch a while back. And I was playing through it. We were having a lot of fun. And I had two younger cousins who were watching us play it. They're both school age at the time. I think they're like 10 and 8 at the time. And they're like, oh, I want to try that. And we're like, it's really hard. Like, hold on, girls. It's really hard. Like, let's we put on the tutorial for them. And I swear to God, it was like that game journalist playing through Cuphead. Yeah. It was the same fucking thing with these two. They did not have the reflexes to like jump and dash at the same time. They just could not understand it. It was really interesting, like watching them struggle with it. And I could see it where it makes sense. You know, if you're young, you don't have the coordination like put together to like jump and dash like that effectively.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same reason we don't like fighting games. They can't do a quarter circle whenever they want to. Like.
Yeah, it's even like watching someone play like the classic Mario, like Super Mario Brothers 1, and not know that if you just hold the button, there's a run button.
Oh yeah.
And how many people don't know that when it's like they play that game for the first time is incredible.
There's a similar thing with Metroid, Super Metroid, and I'm guilty of this. I fucking fell for this. There's a sprint button in Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And there's a bridge you can't cross unless you sprint through it. But the game doesn't tell you there's a sprint button. You know that from reading the manual.
Yeah, that could be the other thing too.
Yeah, so when the game came out, the first time I played Super Metroid was on a Wii U, on the Wii U eShop. And I bought it. I was like, I love Metroid Fusion, so I might like this. Everyone says it's the best Metroid game. Which, by the way, don't go into Super Metroid expecting like Metroid Fusion. That's not what it is. First off, but there's this part of that bridge. People call it the noob bridge because it fucking gets players who don't know about the sprint button. I was stuck on that shit for like ever, and I had to Google like a fucking Super Metroid walkthrough to see what I did wrong. And when I got to that bridge, I was like skimming through it, so I didn't have to spoil too much for myself. When I got to the bridge, I was like, okay, cool, how do I get past this bridge? And he just ran past it. I was like, how the fuck did he do that? Did I miss a power-up or something? So I had to like, I Googled like, what is this fucking bridge? And people were like, there was like a GameFAQs like forum of people who were like, the new bridge claims another victim. And it's like, what the fuck is this new bridge? And then finally, after like digging through it, somebody was like, "Oh, you hold the sprint button in that game. It's like L. It's left trigger." Like the game doesn't tell you that. You have to read the manual. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is ah."
Yeah, that's another
So,
thing
like,
that's
even-
gone.
Yeah.
Manuals.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the game tells you everything.
Yeah.
Well, the game tells you everything where it has like prompts, which by the way are also super shitty. Because another anecdote, that last one this time for real. I was super into Arkham City. When I got it on Wii U, I was super into it. And I want to play the game like the hardest difficulty, which eliminates system prompts. So the game doesn't prompt you into like dodge. You have to like watch the animations. But it also doesn't prompt you to like grab on a ledge or use your zip line and stuff. And because the game always told me when I walked to an edge, press B to like, you know, lean off of it. I never learned to like do that on my own. So when I played through it, I like couldn't play it because I was like, how the fuck do I get over there? So then I look up a walkthrough, and the walkthrough, the guy was just like walking up to the edge, and the game was telling him press B to hang off the edge. And I was like, oh shit, I never learned these actual button inputs because the game just did it for me. That's another thing that fucked me up.
That's fucked up that even does that.
Yeah. Yeah, it fucked me up, dude. I'm telling you. Like, I was like,
because that game is like you don't even know what you can grapple to unless it shows you, hey, there's where the grapple point is.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to be able to finish this game because I knew, I was like, there's a lot of points and this is going to be a problem. So I stopped playing it like that. I turned it off, and it would have been cool if like it just turned off like the alerts for like combat, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. But this doesn't do that. It turns off all those system prompts. All of them. So I was like, I could not figure out how the fuck to get around. And I turned it off after that. I was like, I'm not doing this now. Like, that's not going to happen now. But yeah, it's a fun little anecdote there. But yeah, that's it for the show, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
I love doing this show, man. It's a fun time. You can check us out on Discord, Gameoverse.com/Discord, Gameoverse.com/YouTube, Gameoverse.com/Twitch. I think that's all of them. Is that all of them?
That's all of them. And I'm gonna be live later today with some No Rest for the Wicked. So I'm excited to play that shit.
I'm excited to watch that shit. I'm gonna get up around the house a bit, see if I can like. I think I can watch Twitch on my Xbox. I'm gonna figure it out, and then put the Rugrat to bed.
Yeah, Twitch and YouTube.
Shit.
It'll be live on both.
Dope. YouTube for sure. I know I can stream that. So.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. You all be safe, be after each other, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.